What's going on, guys? It's Thomas with the Top 40 Drummer. In this video, we're going to learn the song Fast As You by Dwight Yoakam. It's a great classic 90s country song, nothing too technical on the drums, but we'll get into some of the phrasing that happens on the choruses and during the solo sections. I've created a gig chart that goes along with the song. This is for the purposes of practicing as well as preparing for a gig. It's not sheet music, not every note is written out, but it will give you the form, the groove, the tempo, all the crucial elements you need to prepare and then play on your gig. If you'd like to purchase this chart, it's available at my website at thetop40drummer.com as well as on my Patreon. Starting at the top with the intro, we have 4 measures of guitar by itself, and then we'll play a little 3-note fill between the kick, floor tom, and snare, and then the kick. 1, 2, 3, and that will lead us into the next 4 measures, which is going to be our primary groove for this song. That groove is going to be 1/8 notes on the hi-hat, snare on 2 and 4, and then bass drum on 1, 3, and the and of 3. So just kind of your classic basic rock beat for that. It would sound like this. Let's see what that intro sounds like with the recording. Moving on to verse 1, we're going to have 12 measures of that exact same groove on the hi-hat. Now, the reason these 12 measures are important is this follows our basic blues form. So that's a specific chord progression that your guitarist and bass player, piano player are all going to play. If you don't know those chords, that's okay. The reason it's important to us is we want to be mindful that we don't play any of our big fills after that 8th measure, which would be conventional and normal in most songs. On this one, we want to wait till that 12th measure before we do our fill to move on to the next section. So verse 1 is 12 measures and verse 2 is 12 measures. We'll see what those two sound like with the recording.
Someday I'll be strong. Maybe it won't be long. I'll be the one who's tough. You'll be the one who's got it rough. It won't be long, and maybe I'll be real strong. Maybe I'll do things right. Maybe I'll start tonight. You'll learn to cry like me. Baby, let's just wait and see. Maybe I'll start tonight and do things right.
Now, the drummer on this recording is sometimes playing crashes every 4 measures. Sometimes he waits 8 measures. Don't worry about those details too much. It's not going to affect the groove or how you play this live. The main thing we want to keep track of is those 12 measures and make sure we're playing our fill before we start it over again. Moving on to chorus 1, this is where we're going to change our pattern. So we're still going to have 8th notes on the hi-hat, but now we're going to play quarter notes on the snare instead of just 2 and 4. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then our bass drum pattern is also going to change up here. We're going to play our bass drum on the first beat, and then in the gaps between the snares on the 3 and then the 4 and. So I'll play that. This pattern is going to happen 3 times at the beginning. So after those 3 times, we're going to go back to our initial groove of the kick, snare, kick, kick, snare, only twice. So this is where the form and the patterns get a little bit strange. If you listen to the melody and you listen to the singing, it's all going to make sense, but it's the less conventional in terms of how it's broken up. So you got 3 measures of that new groove, 2 measures of our first groove, and now we're going to go back to 4 measures of our first groove on the chorus, the one with the snares on all 4 beats. And then we're going to do 1 measure of just an 8th note build to get us back into the next section. So let's put all those together. On to verse 3. This is exactly the same as verse 1 and verse 2, except we're going to have a break or a stop at the very end on measure 12. So we'll break on beat 1 of that last measure, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's going to lead us back into chorus 2, which is going to have that same form as before.
Maybe I'll be fast as you. Maybe I'll break hearts too. But I think you'll slow down when your turn to hurt comes around. Maybe I'll break hearts and be as fast as you.
The next section is our solo section, and that's going to be 12 measures just like our verses. So that same blues form all the way, and we can just loosen up the hi-hats a little bit on this just to give it a little bit more energy. Out of the solo section, we go straight into chorus 2, and this is exactly like chorus 1, where we have that new groove with all the snares on the downbeats, and then 2 measures of our first groove, 4 measures of our new groove, and then an 8th note build to get out of there. Moving on to verse 4, we're going to have the exact same thing as all of our other verses, 12 measures of our hi-hat groove, kick, snare, kick, kick, snare. But after those 12 measures, we're going to extend the verse another 4 bars. This is what we call a tag. And the idea for a tag is that they take the last part of whatever section you're on and they just repeat that part again. So they don't repeat all 12 measures, they just repeat those last 4 bars. And on that 4th measure of the tag, we're going to do another break on beat 1 like we did earlier, and then a little pickup fill into the next section.
Maybe I'll be fast as you. Maybe I'll break hearts too. But I think you'll slow down when your turn to hurt comes around. Maybe I'll break hearts and be as fast as you. Maybe I'll break hearts and be as fast as you. Oh, so good.
Now we're on to our instrumental section in kind of a solo section. So we're gonna have 4 measures of that same chorus groove where we have the snare on all 4 beats, and then we're gonna move back into our 12-bar blues form. And so what's gonna happen next is what we call a vamp. And a vamp is where you take that one section and you repeat it over and over and over. And it's kind of open-ended, and it depends on the live situation. So on the recording, they repeat this 3 times, but if you're playing with a band, they might extend that if you have multiple instruments soloing, or they might shorten it. So just keep track of where everybody is, make eye contact with the band leader, just try to be aware for when you move on to the final section. Now we're finally into the outro in the last section, and this is really just the last time through the vamp. So what's going to happen is we're going to play the same groove we've been playing under the solos, kick, snare, kick, kick, snare. And then for the last 2 measures, measures 11 and measures 12, we're going to do a build and then we're going to end kind of with a classic blues ending rhythm. And that rhythm for the final bar is 1 and 2 and. And so what happens there is you get to pick however you want to end that. You can do that as a fill, like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Whatever you want is fine, but we have to make sure we end with a crash on the and of 2. And that's going to be where everyone holds out that last note. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this chart is for sale on my website at thetop40drummer.com and also on my Patreon. If there's a song that you'd like me to help you break down, leave a comment down below, and I appreciate everyone liking and watching and subscribing to the channel.